you guys are attending the Victims of Crime Act VOCA Innovative Training. We're going to talk about the overview of innovative award changes, the scope of work, budget narrative, quarterly reporting, and quarterly meetings. First, I want to say congratulations on receiving the State Fiscal Year 22 funding. $1 million of this funding went to 15 innovative programs across the state. So you guys are the 15 innovative programs, so congratulations. Some of the changes this year in the innovative awards are agencies that applied for and were awarded both the traditional and the innovative funds will only have one notice of subaward. So we're hoping that this will reduce the paperwork for both subrecipients and the state. And this means that you'll only have one award number and will only have to submit one RFR each month. This also means that you'll only have to turn in one quarterly report. So those of you who have had awards this year with both innovative and traditional, all of that's going to be consolidated into just one award with one set of documentation. We'll go over what all of that looks like here today. Some of the changes in innovative award, this change does not mean that we don't want to be able to track what's being spent and provided with innovative funding. We just want to be able to consolidate everything. So we're getting less paperwork and you're having to provide less paperwork. We still want to make sure that we track everything so that we know what everybody's doing with the funds. What that looks like for you is when developing your scope of work table for your NOSA, we will require that you have at least one goal for your traditional funding and at least one goal for your innovative funding. This doesn't mean that you can't have more than one. You're more than welcome to have multiple goals for both traditional and innovative, or multiple goals for traditional and one goal for innovative. We just want at least one goal for each, the traditional funding and the innovative funding. And on the next slide, we'll show you what that looks like. Your goals should be labeled as traditional or innovative. And then your traditional and innovative objectives, activities, etc. on that scope of work should not be combined onto the same table. So let's look at what that looks like. So this would be an example of how we're hoping that the correct scope of work looks like. So at the top, you can see where it says Innovative Agency, Inc. That would be your company name, and we'll go ahead and input that information once we get your scope of work information and put it into the NOSA. Goal 1, it says, increase the safety of all victims of crime by providing safety planning, advocacy, and referrals to resources. And then after that, it says traditional. So this one is going to be your traditional goal, and all of those objectives listed underneath those are what you're going to do for that traditional goal. Goal number 2, you can see, is decrease barriers to accessing mental health services for victims of crime living in rural areas. And at the end of that, it says innovative. All of those objectives are going to apply to that second goal, and those are your innovative goals and objectives. So you see how that's separated, but still very clear that it's traditional versus innovative. If you have questions on this, please go ahead and ask, and either put it in the chat box, or we can address them in a few minutes. On your budget narrative, only one budget narrative should be submitted. Your notes and justification sections should be used to indicate which costs are for traditional programs and which costs are for innovative programs. And please make sure that you're on mute, because some of the background noise is a little distracting. We want to make sure we can show that both programs are being funded on the one budget narrative. So what this would look like on your personnel section is Jane Doe, your victim advocate. She's going to be on your traditional award, and you can see where that traditional award is labeled. And then John Doe is going to be the victim advocate for the innovative award, and you can see where it shows very clearly that that's innovative. And then Jean Doe is going to be your victim advocate who split traditional and innovative, which you can also see very clearly on that line item. And then your to be hired, your mental health counselor is going to be on your innovative award, and you can see where that's very clearly established. So we just want to make sure that when you're filling out your personnel section that you're very clear on what award, because you are having both the innovative and the traditional funding, that it's separated so that we know who belongs to which award for your VOCA funding. The upper rating is going to show the justification at the bottom where it says justification. Your innovative funds will be used to cover 30% of supplies, rents, and utilities. So the total that you're going to have for VOCA covering is going to be listed in the sections where it says office supplies, rent, utilities, etc. But we're going to know by your justification that innovative is going to be covering 30% of those costs. For quarterly reporting, you'll only be required to submit one quarterly report for VOCA. You'll not need to have to separate numbers by program for any sections except for the scope of work tab. So all of the other tabs are going to have the total number of VOCA client services, regardless if they are traditional funded or innovative funded VOCA clients. The objectives from your scope of work table will be on your quarterly report. So everything that you put on your scope of work will be established, whether it's innovative or traditional, and it will be very clearly stated on your scope of work tab. We will be monitoring that the progress is being made on both programs, and there will be an additional section for you to provide a narrative summary for the status of your innovative program. Quarterly meetings will be held each quarter. We'll have quarterly meetings for all of our victim services programs, and then we'll also be having a specialized victim service quarterly meeting for the VOCA Innovative Program, which is what you guys are. So we're going to talk about program successes, program challenges, and then we'll hold innovative specific training if required, if you have any questions on your specific innovations. And then we're going to discuss any relevant topic on those quarterly meetings. So it's really important to attend those just to make sure that you're up to date and we can answer any questions that are brought up. If you're not comfortable just emailing us as they occur. Do we have any questions over what we've talked about today? I didn't see anything pop up into the chat, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them, and I'm happy to answer whatever I can. All right, well, I don't see any questions pop up. Thank you guys for attending. If you have any questions that come up in the next couple of weeks about VOCA Innovation and how that looks with your VOCA Traditional Award, please reach out to either myself or Julie, and we're both happy to help you with any questions you might have. All of our contact information is on this slide. Any general questions you might have can go to DCFS Grants. We both have access to that. Your RFR submission obviously goes to the funds request email, and then mine and Julie's email and phone numbers are on this slide too. So with all that, I guess you guys can have the rest of your day back. If you haven't done so yet, make sure that you sign in with your agency name in the chat box to receive credit for attending this training, and thank you so much for coming.